Action resumes in the final hour of day 3 here with RBJ Mansing bowling to Shamar Springer, looking for a run. The run is not on. Good fielding by that fielder coming up there. That's Carlos Brown at that backward point position. So they still have a very attacking field for Shamar Springer. Short leg and slip in place as well as an extra cover, and short mid wicket. Other than that, the boundaries are fairly well protected. Orwell Higgins is alongside me, and he's quite familiar with the sporting outlook in Jamaica. And I'm sure you have a lot of thoughts, and I know cricket means a lot to you, despite the competition of sports in Jamaica.
Yeah, because that's the sport that I played. Cricket got me to like other sports.
Yeah.
As a youngster growing up in Westmoreland, cricket was all we played. And as a result of that, your interest in other sports began to develop.
Beautiful delivery there, bouncing delivery there by RBJ Mansing outside the line of the off-stump. Well taken by Romain Morris.
Some bounce on that. Could that be the attempted googly as well? Not sure, but the keeper took it going to his left.
Yeah.
Which might have meant that there was a little hint at the ball coming back.
Yeah, a little bit of the wrong on in there. A nice straighter one, nice loopy one, well played by Shamar Springer. End of the over, 199 for 5. Yeah, and of course the challenge with cricket in Jamaica is that it has to jostle with of course track and field, where the Jamaicans and the green, black, and gold of this particular island is known far and wide.
Yes, not enough youngsters playing cricket as they did 30 years ago. It's one of the things that is. I'm not even sure that is restricted just to Jamaica, though. I suspect around the region, youngsters are not playing cricket with the mass numbers that they did when you and I were kids.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not as much of the psyche as it used to be before. I think that might have a lot of it might be a lot with the death of street cricket, because of course, you would have picked up a bat and ball and play in the streets back in the day, but now there are cars everywhere and annoying neighbors who you can't get your ball back from. So that in a sense is sort of burnt away the actual grassroots of cricket, because you can't get any more grassy, more rootsy than street cricket, or I guess you would call it gully cricket. Or
yeah, back in those days, the passion for cricket was such that you played anywhere. You played in your house if you had to.
Yeah, yeah.
You played on the beach. You played on the road. You played in any open spot.
O.J. Shields from the northern end to the very comfortable Kevin Wickham.
A little surprised that O.J. is brought back. It wasn't really impressive in that last over.
That's a good delivery though. Straightened on him. A little bit of extra bounce, which is probably what saved Kevin Wickham.
Yeah, I think that was much too high.
I honestly think in terms of O.J. Shields coming back, it's just that maybe Pete Salmon and RBJ Mansing are probably getting really, really tired. Yeah. It was probably just to give Pete Salmon a rest, and I'm sure we'd see him back sooner rather than later, maybe in the next 10 to 15 minutes. We haven't seen Brad Barnes since his first couple overs earlier as well.
Yeah, he was roughly treated in that opening spell, so he could be on for a second spell as well.
Yeah.
O.J. Shields. Comfortable play this.
Wickham looks for the run. It's not going to be on there as it dribbles into the gully region. And yeah, coming back to this point about, regional cricket. My first experience was seeing cricket at the Queen's Park Oval, and it was with my grandfather. And it was a regional game. It was Trinidad versus Jamaica. And I remember, of course, it was the old-time scoreboard. So there's a little yellow dot that they'd put and be like that. That's when he told me, look, Courtney Walsh is bowling. But I remember that oval being rammed. And that was just a Trinidad and Tobago versus Jamaica game. And in that sense, a wide delivery down the leg side. Wickham would have loved to get a little piece of that. But in that sense, you can see from the crowds and the showing up that cricket really isn't at the forefront of their thoughts anymore.
The passion that existed then, cricket then was more than just a game. It's almost like a social pastime. You did your chores as a kid.
Yeah.
You came from school, did your chores, you played cricket. I mean, maybe 80% of youngsters in my time would have played cricket at some level at some point. OJ Shields running in, but really not causing too much alarms at the moment. Pitch not offering much to the pace bowlers at all.
I mean, coming back to the passion of the game, I think the passion is still there. It's just, if you really look at it, West Indies cricket mirrors the best of the West Indies. That's what it is. It's the best of who we are as a region. It doesn't matter if the player comes from Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana, Barbados, Jamaica. You embrace him as your own. Chris Gayle is.
No, when I say passion, I'm talking about
Yeah.
the youngsters wanting to play the game.
Well, I was getting to that after this point.
Yeah. Producer said, "Hey, that
Lovely
took
bounce
off."
and delivery. Got underneath that one, did Kevin Wickham. Kevin Morris could do nothing with it. And the umpire waves byes as it goes away for 4.
That took off.
Yeah, that was a spicy one.
That absolutely took off. Maybe one of the quicker deliveries bowled in this game. That came from nowhere as well. That one, maybe a little extra effort, but it took off from back of the length. And I tell you something, Kevin Wickham, if this had stayed down, it was very short, but it came off with some pace. Keeper never had a chance.
He didn't play that very well at all because he almost jumped into it as well.
Surprised him.
Oh, another one. Beautiful. That one was well followed up. And well played this time by Wickham. But coming back to that, what you said about passion. So we recently had a chance to do the bilateral series between between Trinidad and Tobago and Jamaica. And I was pleasantly surprised to know, 203 for 5 after 56, that after having spoken to both of the team's coaches, that 70 or 80% of the players do want to play Test cricket. That is their goal. So the passion might be simmering, but I think it is still there. It is still there, and it's just, what do the administrators, what do the Cricket West Indies need to, what do everyone need to do to filter back that passion into cricket? It might be something like virtual cricket. Like, so you see these guys online and they're playing the virtual cricket with the virtual reality. That might get somebody involved in the game. Of course, there's the advent of T20 cricket, so the smart, fast, easy money cricket would also appeal to cricketers from that perspective who want to change their financial status in life. Mansing's to continue to Shamar Springer.
No.
Appeal for a leg before. Nothing doing. Orville Higgins says no, and so does the umpire, who is way more important than Orville Higgins in this seat.
I think I heard a double sound from here that this apparently got an inside edge. Let's check. Let's see if we could pick up the ball coming off the bat. Yeah, clearly.
Well,
He hit that into his pad. It wasn't just an edge. It was.
That's
playing it
radio
into his
air
pad.
for you for sure there, Orville Higgins.
Well, it was obvious to me that there was an inside edge, and they should have known it too. But they're a desperate bunch at the moment, wanting a wicket.
Yeah, trying to buy one as it were.
I would say want to steal one. But the umpire, he's made some good decisions. The umpire.
So, coming back to this passion of cricket, is that when I was younger, when a test match was going on and stuff like that, that was it. That was all around the Caribbean. There was news all around the Caribbean and stuff like that. Now, because of the lack of success of West Indies cricket, it's sort of on the back burner. But we saw on occasions, like when Shamar Joseph had that brilliant 7 for 78 against Australia in the south, in Australia. I think it was in Perth, either Perth or Brisbane. But he was immediately catapulted into the level of the superstar, of the person that we respect, and he was feted across the Caribbean for it.
Yeah.
Even that horrible series against Australia, horrible. overthrow there will allow the Bajans to get an easy single.
Yeah, that's
And
poor cricket.
Shamar Springer also took it for granted that he was getting in. He was very, very casual getting in. So a bit of poor cricket all around.
Yeah, I could tell you about the passion in terms of numbers here in Jamaica. In terms of those who are playing, half the number of high schools that used to play high school competition in the 80s, 90s, half of them are no longer playing.
Yeah.
The numbers of spectators that used to be at the school grounds for a Headley Cup or a Sunlight Cup final, 5, 10 times the numbers. I remember Senior Cup cricket, which is the level just below regional. The grounds used to be absolutely packed. A game between Kingston and Kensington. This is whacked back to the bowler. Be a drop chance. But a good Senior Cup game with Kingston versus, say, Kensington. The spectators would be streaming in. Everybody wanted to see. A first-class game at Savannah Park now could be going, well, there's a first-class game now. And you maybe have 100 people in. In the 90s, a first-class game at Savannah Park, and even here at Shedwin, we'd have 3,000 and 4,000 people watching.
Yeah.
So the actual interest in the game, both from those who play and those who watch, is definitely not the same.
A nice sweep here by Wickham down to long leg, and they'll get a single. And that will be the end of the 57th over. It is indeed 205 for 5. But again, it all comes down to the success of the West Indies team. If the West Indies test team was doing well, people would come back. Because I know, for example, in Trinidad, there are people who they don't go to cricket because they like the sport, but because the line, because the party, the atmosphere is good. You can sit down, you can talk with friends, you can get excited, you can have a nap if you want. You could have a 5-course meal because you have breakfast coming to you, whether it is you're getting your rice and whatever, and your roti and everything. So it's a lovely thing. It really is a lovely atmosphere when you get it right.
Right, but all right, let me say, West Indies won the T20 World Cup in 2012.
Yeah.
They won again in 2016. Did very well in 2014. Our women also won.
Yeah.
And they were under 19 one that same year, 2016. The crowds at Senior Cup in Jamaica didn't improve. It's a funny thing. No, I agree. If the test team was doing well, new bowler we are seeing now where
Sam
Peters brought back. We'd get increased numbers for sure.
Yeah.
But would they go to the numbers that they were in the 80s? I remember going to a Jamaica-Barbados game in the 1980s. Wayne Lewis, Delroy Morgan opening the batting against Malcolm Marshall. I couldn't get in the ground.
Pete Salmon is back to bowl. And Kevin Wickham is as comfortable as ever.
I mean, the ground was full at 9:30 for a regional game. That ain't going to happen anytime in my lifetime again. Well, who knows the future?
But I mean, it's up to, again, it's up to the administrators, it's up to the nations as well to be sensible and to be smart about it.
Right. In the air, this
lofted beautifully straight, dead straight, and dead 6 from Kevin Wickham. A brilliant shot there. Absolutely wonderful pickup from the young batter.
There's something about the way he hits sixes. He's not swiping.
No.
There's nothing agricultural.
No.
He hits sixes with a certain kind of certainty. Look at this. This is proper cricketing shot. Down the track and lofting. Classic lofted shot over long off.
Very, very easy on the eye, Kevin Wickham. And that was Salmon's second delivery, the leading wicket taker for the Jamaicans. And you just deposited him back for 6 over, back over his head. But again, it's all about marketing. It's all about advertising. It's all about a hook to get people into the ground,
Yeah, we certainly could learn from that. I remember watching an NBA game, Miami Heat versus somebody in Miami, whatever their arena is called. And having watched that NBA game, I realized one of the things why the Americans do so well at marketing their own. There were pictures of the stars of the NBA from Miami on each light post on your way in. There were huge cartoon characters within the stadium walking around taking pics with the kids. So you have a 6-year-old who has absolutely no interest in basketball. He wants to go for the cartoon figures. and things like that. We have a lot to learn
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And
in
the lights
marketing the
and
game.
the,
There you go.
you know.
So I accept that all those would help.
But as I've always said, the beauty of the 4-day game and the regional game and red ball cricket is that what you have to sell is time. So if you can tell somebody, hey, you can come whole weekend and you can get snacks, you can get, entertainment, you can bring the kids, you all could run around, you know, and you can do that all day and just go home comfortably at the end of the day and still have something to do the next day, then that's what you can sell. Because, and I mean, credit to Cricket West Indies for bringing these streams live and stuff because you can actually see that there are a lot of people watching these games. The question is, how do we get the locals back into Chedwin Park?
Not out.
Yeah, appeal for a leg before there.
Struck outside off, I think, offering a shot. So he's not going to get too many of those.
So a lot of good things are happening, of course, Mr. Orville Huggins, and you have a lot to discuss on your show.
Yeah, yeah. Some of these very discussions we've had over the years. And for me, there are many things that the Cricket Association could do. 211 for 5 after 58 overs, with the lead now stretching out to 217. Jamaicans at the moment, and I can't speak for the rest of the region,
Yeah.
that level of interest by those coming up. If you look at Chedwin Park now, it's a very small sample size. But how many teenagers are here who are not coming directly from school? Most of the people here are vintage cricket watchers,
Mm.
not too many 10 or 12 or 11-year-olds. As
Well,
opposed to champs, when you go to the track and field high school championship, it's half of the people there are young teenagers who want to see the next generation
yeah.
of high school track and field stars.
But I mean, Champs is a beast all by
Now,
itself,
there you go.
and after this delivery. And I mean, it's all up to the Cricket Association to rebuild from the grassroots. And again, what we did see with the under 15, and what I did notice is that there was a diverse group of young players. It wasn't just from the Kingston area. It wasn't from just the capital. So at least they're looking far for the players. And the fact of the matter is, Orville, the net that we can cast is not very big. So once we cast it to the end and we pick these players, we pick these handfuls of under 13, under 15, under 17, under 19 players, it's up to us to nurture and groom them into the level that they want to be in. I mean, yes, you might pick a group of 30 and maybe only 5 turn out for test cricket, or 5 want to push to that test cricket level. But at least you're building cricket in a level where they play for their clubs, where if they're earning big money, if they're getting that IPL contract or anything, they're going to help their schools and whatever and stuff like that. They're not going to turn their backs on where they were made. Nice drive again, and that's firmly struck by Wickham, and you run one. They're coming back for the second as the fielder comes off from long off boundary. It's OJ Shield. The throw comes in. It hits the stumps at the striker's end, but Wickham is safe and sound.
Yeah, these two are going on about their business quietly. Every now and again we see something special like that 6 down the ground from Kevin Wickham. But all these runs are very, very valuable runs, and they are going about it in a very unbothered manner. 220 the lead now. And the Scorpions wouldn't want this to stretch out too far. They need a wicket, and they need it badly.
Yep.
The Barbados Pride, from their perspective, want these two to continue until the close of play.
Good running again. Excellent running.
Tired legs late in the afternoon. The Jamaicans not as sprightly on their feet as they otherwise would have been. And good running, good hustle between Wickham and Springer. And get them back for 2. Springer playing a decent little hand here. He's 17 from 39.
Yeah, it's been a very, very solid knock. I always like Shamar Springer. He always seemed to me to be an all-rounder with some serious potential. Ever since his under 19 days. Of course, he spent a lot of time with the Windward Islands volcanoes, so he's probably delighted to be in Barbados colors. But yeah, certainly again one of those players sort of exploded at 19 and dissipated. He's now about 27, 28. So you know what happened to those formative years where he could have been around.
I used to call him the chest roll man.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
That
that
a
would be
famous dance.
yeah the under 19
Why
World
on
Cup.
earth did he do away with that? Stood out.
216 for 5 after 59.
That little chest roll.
Well, you
he
can
did
always do
after
it on
getting
radio
wickets.
because nobody could see it. Orville Huggins. We have our cameraman here so we can catch you doing it.
Uh,
And
well, it's very late in the afternoon, and sometimes these sessions, Andrew, as you would well know, it's a question of will. Both teams, it's who wins these key battles. So as we come down towards close of play, it is these moments that determines a lot of four-day contests. The tight sessions, the tight battles. As it is now, there's a battle. The Scorpions need a wicket to just keep their noses at least on par.
yeah.
The Barbados Pride need these two batsmen to bat till close. Now, who wins these little battles quite often goes on to win the game. Who wins more of these tight sessions in a game that has been quite even throughout?
And shock and horror, John Campbell turns to his ever hard working horse, Mr. Odin Smith. And to use another analogy, I would say, maybe, to use another horse racing analogy, I would say the Bajans are maybe about one length in front. But a couple wickets again here from Jamaica's Scorpions, and they might come back to being about the same neck and neck. But as it stands, if the day ended as it were, I think the Bajans would be the happier ones.
Yeah, and the only way that the Jamaicans will go into the close of play feeling more happy than the Bajans if they get some wickets. If
Yeah.
no wickets were to fall or no more wickets, the Scorpions would feel that the day belongs to Barbados.
I certainly feel like if they take one here, they might just be in with a chance, a sniff, to out them down.
And this is one of the things where teams have to keep their discipline. Odin Smith has been brought back. What is the plan? What are you aiming to do? You can't be both sides of the wicket. You still have to have a plan. Can't be just bowling and hoping. So maybe the plan is, I don't know, to keep the batsman quiet, which means that there should be a feel for that. As it is now, based on the feel, he should be just about there. Maybe a touch too wide. But you still have to run in with an aim and a plan in mind.
Yeah. I'm not sure. It's sort of like they're trying to balance the field between attack and defense. The offside field is really good, but there's still protection on mid off and long off, as well as deep backward square leg. So there's still protection for Odin Smith. And Springer can just play the sensible ball into the gully region and get a single.
Yeah, nice, easy, just steering it to the man and to the left of the man at that cover position. And good score, 50, the partnership from 84 balls. So this partnership is concerning, if not worrying now for the Scorpions. That was a wide delivery, too wide. Maybe some pace taken off it as well.
But I mean, the Bajans still do have a headache as well, Mr. Higgins, because if they bat through to tomorrow, when do they declare? Do they declare maybe an hour before the end of the first session, give themselves 2 sessions and then an hour, which would be 5 hours to get rid of the Jamaicans?
Yeah, that I think would be ideal. The question is, how do they play the rest of the afternoon? Because they could try to increase the tempo in case of that declaration, but that could also backfire because you don't want to be bowled out. So at the moment, a nice little cat and mouse game. Whatever happens, we still hope for an exciting finish tomorrow. That is what I hope happen. I hate boring, tame, 4-day drawn games. We want both teams to feel they still have a chance come the final session.
Well, that's why I mean the way this game is poised. I mean, it's either Jamaica roll over very easily, or Jamaica bat and milk every single delivery they have for the fourth day. That's the only two way it's really gonna go at this point. You can safely say, and that's not even a guarantee. I mean, all three results are still technically possible. I would say it's leaning based on the fact that it's going into a fourth day, based on the fact that the pitch is misbehaving a little bit, based on the fact that the Jamaica Scorpions maybe didn't string together as partnerships as they did in the first innings, which again can change in a second inning. I mean, John Campbell and Kirk McKenzie are quite capable of chasing down 250 by themselves.
There you go.
But it's who stands up and who does that. Mr. Higgins, I think you're going to take your leave now. Thank you very much for working with me today.
Yes, sir. I'm looking forward to catch yourself and Marlon Pinnock and indeed the rest of the 360 TV crew tomorrow. As far as I'm concerned for the day, big up to all our viewers and continue to stay tuned.
Appeal for caught behind as that delivery is going down the leg side. Orville Higgins is leaving as the excitement is starting. And who better to bring the excitement to you than Marlon Pinnock, Mr. Excitement himself. He's so excited to come in here. He's jumping and leaping. Yeah, Salmon will continue here to Kevin Wickham. Another delivery down the leg side. Romain Morris has the bails off in a flash. And stumps destroyed. Maybe a little bit of anger coming through here as Marlon Pinnock is back in commentary.
Good afternoon to you, Andrew Chan. Good afternoon to our viewers. This one pitch on leg stump spun down the leg side sharp. Excellent take by Morris. And he was disappointed. So to the Scorpions. But another brilliant innings from a brilliant player in Kevin Wickham.
Yeah, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Going on really well. 63 of 90. He hasn't looked bothered at all. Maybe one or two deliveries, which is expected in innings. But really, really excellent batting from him. And the Jamaicans really need a wicket or two here before the end of the day's play, Marlon Pinnock. Else they're going to be in a tight bind for tomorrow.
That's the order of the day for the Scorpions. Wickets as the lead stretches to 224, and another solid base set by these two batters.
I mean, it's all about taking your chances, isn't it? Because all the batters on both sides have had the same pitch that Kevin Wickham has had. He's the one that has taken a chance. He's made the most of his opportunity.
Outer portion of the bat found and goes down to that vacant third man region, and just held back inside by Brad Barnes on this occasion. But if you look at the approach from Kevin Wickham, he looks to adapt, he looks to play himself on the surface, and then when the bat ball presents itself, he's capitalized.
Yeah, I think even that shot was an educated edge, because that delivery kept a little bit low and he just sort of let it take the edge. You have to be very, very careful of that going forward. And the Jamaica Scorpions, I mean, their batters will be looking at this pitch with some questions to be asked as well.
Another half-century partnership between both batters in the middle. We saw 100 in the first innings, and now an half-century partnership, 52 runs so far.
Brilliant stuff, brilliant stuff.
This is educated cricket again.
Yeah. A little bit more
Close to the
delicate,
ball.
more in control.
And just open the face of the bat to that vacant backward point region. Very, very good cricket from Kevin Wickham.
And he ends the over at 221 for 5 after 61. Pete Salmon, he looked very effective in his first spell. He's not looked as effective in this second spell so far. He's only bowled a couple overs. He might need to ease into it a little bit. But it has been a long day in the field for him because, of course, he was batting earlier. And then his team folded pretty easily after he was dismissed. It's been a long day in the field for Pete Salmon.
Has some 6 wickets for 157 runs in the game.
Yeah, it's been a really long toil for him. Yeah, and he bowled a lot of overs in the first innings as well. So he's been on the field for quite a bit here. That man, Odin Smith, still charging in, still working hard for his team.
Desperate for a wicket in this.
Yeah, he deserves a wicket, does Odin Smith.
He bowled pretty well up top in his first spell. Had Shane Mosley in some bother, but still not been able to pick up a wicket in this encounter. With some promising signs, Andrew.
Yep. Certainly is indeed. There's about 20 minutes left in the day's play.
I think 10 overs left in the day's play as we look. I think 80 would have been completed so far, if my math is correct. This time a wearer delivery down the leg side. And the glove work in this game has been awesome from Romain Morris.
Yeah, it's been excellent glove work. The fielding in general has been good by the Jamaica Scorpions. There haven't been any drop catches, and the groundwork has generally been very, very good. The credit to them for that. But it almost seems like the Bajans are just going into a bit of a shell now. They know there's not much time left in the day, and they know they have a day tomorrow. I'm sure Wickham is still going to play each ball on its merit. Tucked up by that one. The appeal for the leg before. I think that was a little bit high. We'll have to look at the replay on that one, the front end replay, to see exactly what happened there.
Well, all the Scorpion players was up in a choir. Really and truly needs this wicket of Kevin Wickham. Well, look at this delivery. Maybe handling down the leg side.
Handling down the leg side as well. I think it struck him on his thigh pad as well. So that was definitely height and direction. It almost seemed as he was squared up though. With our views from behind. This one is solidly behind that one. There is no run at the moment.
The last two deliveries we have seen from Odin Smith, he's looked to bowl that middle and leg stump to Kevin Wickham. He's very, very good outside the off stump. Wickham, no doubt about his ability to hit the ball through the offside.
He has a good leg side game as well, does Kevin Wickham. It's all around the wicket. A bit of width there, cuts it nicely. You'll just get a single. It's an easy one. And that will bring Springer back on strike.
So clearly we could say Kevin Wickham is a 360 player.
Yeah, definitely. I would agree with that wholeheartedly.
Sun beating heavily.
He's also a very he's also a very technically correct player. His shots are in nowhere would you consider them agricultural. They're very, very pure shots. His hitting down the ground is immaculate. His cover drives are very, very powerful as well.
Really a touch player.
Yeah. Nice shot by Springer. Well fielded by Odin Smith. The big man getting down. Lovely afternoon at Chedwin Park. Beautiful conditions here. If the Jamaica Scorpions weren't up against it, maybe they would be feeling a little bit better about life. The Bajans continuing to stretch their lead. Well bowled and well turned away by Springer. It's down to the long leg position. And that's OJ Shields doing the fielding there. And that is the end of the over. At the end of the over, it's 223 for 5, the Barbados Pride. Pete Salmon will continue from the southern end.
On a marathon spell, repeat, someone in the game. 6 for 157 in the match. And still has an opportunity to add to his tally. .229 the lead as we approached the end of day 3. A very, very important day coming up, the final day, day 4, tomorrow.
Yes, certainly. It's a game that could go down to the wire, the very, very wire. Barbados, I still think, are slightly in front at this stage here. They have runs on the board. Scoreboard pressure is always a big thing. I mean, if they get to 250 tonight, a lead of 250, and the Jamaicans go to bed thinking, "Wow, we have to chase 250 on a final day," that's going to that's going to play on their heads, on their minds. Maybe they will feel, okay, we can regroup in Sabina, and it would make for a very interesting contest in that regard. But so far, I genuinely feel that Barbados have set the better momentum in terms of their gameplay.
Another good cricketing stroke, just coming on the front foot and open the face of the bat. This has been going throughout the innings for these two. The ability to rotate the strike has been brilliant.
Because the other thing you have to appreciate about Barbados is both innings is that they've scored at a very, very good rate, Marlon Pinnock. The first day, 300 on the first day, that's not bad at all. Here again, their run rate is quite good. And while, yes, Kevin Wickham did stand up, he had Kyle Mayers that stood up with him, he had Shamar Springer. On the Jamaica side, whenever a batter got to a level where they could stand up, they just sort of faltered. So the Bajan bowling unit, led of course by that man Jamal Warrican, would seem to be slightly stronger on paper at this point. End of the over, 224 for 5, not a bad one by Salmon, just a one run off it.
This is where Barbados Pride looking to close out the afternoon, looking to bat the Scorpions out the game. And so far so good. Kevin Wickham has been marvelous. He's having a great first run in the West Indies Championship for 2026.
Well, I mean, I would love to see him get that second 100 and attain immortality, as it were.
That would have been the third here at Shedrin Park.
Oh my! And this looks to be very, very unfortunate. John Campbell, the Jamaica captain, has gone down. And he's also a very important batter. I don't think he was struck or anything, but yeah, it might just be cramps at the end of the day. It's been a long day in the field. He also hurt his hand as well, diving to stop a Kevin Wickham cover shot. So hopefully it's nothing too serious and it's just cramps at this point, Marlon Pinnock. But it's been an interesting day, and we've just been posed the question, and we have to talk to our play of the day. I'm not sure who would you go for. Of course, there's Kevin Wickham, and then Jamel Warrican doing the damage earlier today with 5 wickets. So there's that option as well.
Well, in fact, we could speak to both.
Well, if you can handle both, Marlon Pinnock, you go right ahead.
And the physiotherapy was on the field, giving John Campbell some treatment. And a very, very important player for the Scorpions. He's the leader. And as I mentioned, no doubt about his ability. Would have scored his main test century against India a few months ago.
Yeah, well, he doesn't look too worried, I have to say. Looks like there's a little bit of a smile on his face, so he probably doesn't think that it's anything too serious.
32 years of age, John Campbell from the parish of St. Mary. Would have played for 2 high schools here in Jamaica in Headley Cup cricket. Of course, Taki High School and Homo Technical High School.
Oh, very nice. And both of those are in the parish of St. Mary?
Well, Taki High School is in the parish of St. Mary, while Homo Technical is in the parish of Manchester.
Oh, my. He's switching parish allegiances as well. But is that common in secondary schools cricket to see players play for multiple schools like that, or?
It's a transfer system. And when I went to Homewood, I was first going to a Bucknut Gallimore High School in St. Ann. Then I got transferred to Homewood Technical High School. I had to sit out 1 year before I can participate in Headley Cup cricket. That's Prime Moon here in Jamaica.
As I know, in secondary schools football, for example, in Trinidad, that transfer it's a very big thing, and it's of course some of the guys maybe from a lesser high school, they get transferred to a better high school, but not only their education as well, because they're student athletes as well, which is of course the thing to consider.
Similar thing to football here in Jamaica. You have to sit out a year. Doncaster Cup, Manning Cup.
I'm not certain. I don't think they have to sit out a year, do they? In secondary schools football in Trinidad, do they have to sit out a year if they change schools? No.
If they transfer, you could go in one time.
Yeah.
So
So,
the age restriction.
thank you very much for that input, Keshav, our erstwhile production manager. The action is about to resume. I think Campbell has remained on the field as well, so he didn't leave, so that's good to see. The Jamaicans will certainly need him with the bat tomorrow. Odin Smith to continue. He'll be bowling to Shamar Springer. Nice drive by Springer. Out to long on, and they'll trot an easy single.
Lead goes up to 231 and heading towards that 250 mark.
Creeping towards it, most definitely Marlon Pinnock.
And yet again, Kevin Wickham facing over 100 deliveries. Very, very important for the Pride.
Wide delivery, and he reached for that one, but could only get it up to John Campbell, who jumps around gingerly as he gets it. I think that ball was just too bad for Kevin Wickham to hit for 4.
It was slow as very slow outside.
Oh, he's bringing in his T20 skill here, Odin Smith.
Absolutely.
Yeah, really, really good stuff. That one a little faster, a little bit closer to the stumps. And a bit of a misfield there, and that fielder is rolling in pain there as he landed awkwardly on his shoulder. And he stayed down. Well, well, well.
Not good signs for the Scorpions.
It
Seems to
looked
be
it
Kurt
looked
McKenzie
so
Jr.
innocuous there. And we'll have another break in play here as that fielder receives treatment. I think it looks like Kirk McKenzie. It is Kirk McKenzie indeed. My, and the two Jamaica opening batters having injuries in quick succession. And you can see from the reaction of the physiotherapist that it's something fairly serious.
Well, you could see the reaction of the player Kurt McKenzie.
Yeah.
Maybe the shoulder slipped out and the physiotherapy. Look at that. Not good signs for the Scorpions as he's in real pain.
Good work from our camera team to get the shots there.
Excellent work from the camera team.
Excellent work from the camera team.
Spearheaded by Kadir Mohammed.
Yep. And of course, you met his minion as well. Yeah, the physiotherapist is definitely sort of pushing it back in. There's definitely a dislocated shoulder there. My goodness, this is a serious one for Mackenzie. I'd like to have a look at the replay and see what happened because it looks so harmless. Just rolled over the ball or something. Checking that he has full range of movement now. A very, very challenging over from Odin Smith. John Campbell was injured before the start of the over, and now Mackenzie's injured during the over.
And he's making his way off the field as well, Kurt McKenzie Jr.
Oh, Mackenzie is going off indeed. That'll be a big blow, and hope that he recovers to come out on bat tomorrow. I mean, those sorts of injuries can go either way. Maybe put it back in, but it'll be sore. So if they ice it, he should be okay for tomorrow. If there's any lasting muscle damage, well, then he might be out for a little bit. Is Mackenzie. And so have a look at the replay of what happened here. Yeah, he just landed really, really awkwardly. Didn't tuck the hand underneath him, maybe. And yeah, just landed really, really awkwardly on that left shoulder. And he punches that down to the wide third man region and he'll get a single. Actually, they'll come back for two very, very easy runs as the shadows lengthen across Chetburn Park. Been an absolutely beautiful outfield, an absolutely beautiful day for cricket, and an absolutely wonderful day of cricket. Still some 7 overs to go left in the day's play. With again, and Springer punches it into the cover region. Didn't let his full flow go on that one, and there's no run.
And the substitute fielder is on Javoy Royal for Kurt McKenzie Jr. at that mid-wicket region, a straight mid-wicket. More so in a mid-on position now.
You know you're a personal fan of Odin Smith. Does Javor Royal come a close second in your books, Marlon Pinnock? Lovely Yorker length delivery, and Javor Royal slides nicely in the exact same spot where Kirk McKenzie was injured. All in all, they get a single. They get the end of the over. Springer will pinch the strike with the score on 227-5.
And that's Jamaica leg spinner Otar. There, she's also a teacher in Jamaica. And Jamaica female cricketer.
A close-up of RBJ Mansing as well. And that might be your vehicle there, Marlon Pinnock.
Hey, Pinnock's driving school.
Pete Salmon to continue. He's not had the best of days in the field in terms of his bowling. That man Jivor Royal will make his way down to long off. It's almost as if he sensed Marlon Pinnock and is like, I need to be near Marlon Pinnock.
Kept on asking questions, Pete Salmon. 2 answers so far for 54 runs into his 20th over.
Now he's now coming back for his second spell. Might be about the second or third over into that spell.
Scorpion desperate for another wicket before the close of play on day 3.
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at the timing now with 7 overs, 6 at the end of the day's play here. Quick single here, excellent running, just touch and go from Shamar Springer. So this, I think that basically encapsulates what the Bajans are doing. They've hunkered down. I think they basically closed up shop for the day. I don't think there's going to be anything extravagant, anything big for the rest of the innings with 6 overs left. Nice punch again by Wickham down the ground. But again, with 6 overs left, if they get one wicket or 2 wickets, that could just cause some nerves to the end of play. And every delivery will be almost like a bomb dropping. I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? Oh my gosh, what's going to happen? Which can make things very, very interesting. Nice punch again by Springer. Again, but this is brilliant stuff from the Bajan. They don't need to do anything fancy. They have all the cards. They're in control of the game. They have 2 well-set batters. All they have to do is knock the ball around. And the field is spread for them to do that.
This is good. This is really good cricket.
Yeah.
Another
Excellent.
run. 4 singles from the last 4 deliveries of this Speed Salmon 20th. 4 singles came from it. 65 comes to an end. 2-3-3 for 5.
Yeah.
For Pride. But this is what the doctor had ordered for Barbados Pride. Rotation of the strike. When the bad ball presents itself, capitalize. And they have done that just throughout the innings so far. And maintaining a steady run rate throughout the innings.
Yeah, it's been really, really good application by these 2. I mean, I think if you look at Wickham's innings, he came in, his team was in trouble. He came in again with Kyle Mayers, who we know can score very, very quickly. And he outscored Kyle Mayers, but yet he played conventional cricket. Kyle Mayers was sort of going at quite a few of the deliveries when it was not really necessary at the time. But we know that's how Mayers plays. Wickham, on the other hand, he's held up his end and he's done what he had to do. Width on this one, and he cuts nicely. The backward point comes off the ropes, and another single there to Kevin Wickham, and he moves on to 71 now.
And you look at his 71 runs he has scored in quick time, just 105 deliveries.
Yep.
With no pressure, no at ease, you'd want to say.
It's been a consistent inning, yeah. He hasn't been bogged down, he hasn't been, overly challenged at any point. He hasn't looked in any serious worry. Nice drive by Springer for no run.
I think this is a very, very good calculated innings from Shamar Springer so far. The lead goes up to 240. There's just about 5 overs left after this.
Touch and go again from Springle, opening up the face of the bat. We're probably contemplating too, but the fielder is very quick off the ropes. That's RBJ Mansing. Running all the way from deep backward point.
We look at the approach from Shamar Springer on this occasion, opening the face of the bat, but the aggressive running between the wickets, looking for a second opportunity. This is good. This is former West Indies player Danza Hyatt Sr. with one of his good colleagues who went to GC Foster College.
With again and punched again to that backward point region, this time by Wickham. So he's offering them that with Odin Smith. I don't know if he just maybe tired this at the end of the day.
These are some police officers protecting Andrew Chang and company here at Sheridan Park.
A warrant outstanding, Marlon Pinnock. all your speeding tickets up to date. That's short and that's pulled away nicely into the cow corner region. It will run close to the ropes. The field is coming around from deep backward square leg and as well. They're coming back for 3. That's very, very good running. Towards the end of the day, batters are tired, fielders are tired, and to still push yourself for 3, that is excellent cricket.
Lovely cricket from the Pride. You look at the running from the moment the ball left the bat. You could see the urgency being applied by Shamar Springer and Kevin Wickham. 3 precious runs to the Pride. You look at the dugout as well. And not the happiest of dressing room.
They're very relaxed.
And that's what we know.
With this time, and he's pulled nicely. That's a wonderful shot by Kevin Wickham. It's gone into the cow corner for 4. A wonderful pull shot.
Short delivery, sat up, easy pickings, bread and butter for Kevin Wickham with the form he is in. And he won't miss out on that. Another boundary. He goes up to 76. 66 comes to an end. 2-4-3 for 5, the Pride.
Yeah, these two came together at 168 for 5. They've taken the score up to 243. It's been a brilliant innings by Kevin Wickham, ably supported by Shamar Springer. And it's just proof that yes, they'd gone into their shell a little bit, but they were still knocking the balls around, getting those singles, pushing hard between the wickets. And then when a bad delivery comes along, they still have the presence of mind to put it away. I mean, it must be easy for Kevin Wickham. He's seen the ball as big as the sun right now. Moves swiftly on to 76 as well. Salmon to continue. Springer forward. No run.
Barbadian batters playing each ball on its merit, and that's the order of the day. Nothing for nothing. A load appeal and maybe struck outside the line of the off stump.
Yeah, big stretch from Shamar Springer. Getting his foot outside the line of the off stump. Good delivery from Salmon. I think it was drifting back in just a little bit. Let's have a look at this one. Yeah, there was certainly some drift back in.
Oh, not a good delivery.
Yeah, almost squared up by that one. Got the bat down just in time with Shamar. But I think it certainly is a pitch that keeps you honest as a batter. Yeah, I don't think you can ever really get away from it. As full toss, full delivery, and it's smacked it into the extra cover region. Mindley comes off the ropes, only gets one. Shamar would be disappointed that he didn't launch that into Spanish Town Central.
And just to the right of the big fellow Dean Smith in that cover region.
Good delivery, good turn, well played by Wickham. He'll look for one, and that's all he'll get down to fine leg.
And the lead goes up to 250 with that single from Kevin Wickham. And there are some loyal spectators supporting the Scorpions over by that far side close to the football field.
The lead is actually up to 251 now. That delivery kept low. Well played by Shamar Springer. Kept out Pete Salmon for the last delivery of the over, I believe. Yep, 245 for 5 after 67. The game really at a wonderful state here, Marlon Pinnock. And it's all about mental strength at this point. Barbados, of course, to see through these final 4 overs or so. But then Jamaica, even more importantly, how did they come out in the morning? How did they come out fresh? How did they come out and say, this game isn't over yet?
Maybe coach would have a long discussion this evening, but still a game to be won by both teams. Not out of the woods by no stretch of imagination. Still evenly poised going into the final day. A couple of wickets before close could be very efficient for the Scorpions.
And the Bajans have achieved a very big moral victory. They, whatever the Jamaicans, however these play ends, the Jamaicans have to go in and they'll know they have to chase more than 250 tomorrow. So that, that mental issue of that mental block of saying I have to chase 250 is going to play on their minds for the entire evening as well.
And it's time for Brad Barnes. Just bowled the 2 overs in his first spell, none for 15. Well, he's back for his third, and just about 4 overs left in the day's play.
Well, I have an inkling that maybe the Jamaicans are tired, and with just 4 overs, you're going to get Brad Barnes to get through them quickly, as opposed to have poor Dean Smith running in hard. Turned away nicely into the leg side behind square by Kevin Wickham. And I would hate to be the masseuse to have to massage Dean Smith's shoulders, Penny. Because your hands would have to be Hulk size, wouldn't they? You would just feel these little fingers. You'd feel my hands and be like, oh, what are these little fingers and little ants running over my back?
I tell you what, maybe hands don't massage Dean Smith either.
Well, Penny, I don't know what else could massage Dean Smith. I'm not going to speculate on that with you. If you have inside information about Dean Smith and his physiotherapy, feel free to share off air.
And Barnes haven't contributed in the wicket column in this game so far. The man from cool Manchester. And his dad is here as well, watching all day. Barry Barnes.
Well struck and well fielded by Dean Smith. Big man getting down towards the end of the day.
And showing signs of fitness as well.
Oh, poor through by Campbell. And misfield. Actually, that's not Campbell. Poor through by that fielder out there.
Javel Glenn.
That's Glenn. And mistake by Romain Morris, allowing the batters to trot through for a single. And Springer will spring the strike at the end of the over. 247 for 5. 68 overs have been bowled. Action resumed with Pete Salmon bowling to Shamar Springer. Nice drive by Springer down to a long on. An easy single. So a minimum of 3 overs left in the day's play. Somebody has decided not to pay attention to the cricket and do laps around St. Catherine, Chedwin Park. Oh no, he's actually just running to the scoreboard, never mind. But I would love, it would be awesome to see lights at Chedwin. I think Chedwin has a wonderful environment for night cricket, Marlon Pinnock. Nice punch, really nice punch by Kevin Wickham. Mindley will come around from long off. They're looking at 2, but Mindley does well, so they're restricted to 1.
Very, very good calculated inning so far by both batters in the middle. Have looked the part. Has executed good so far for the Pride.
Yeah, we were having discussion with Orville Higgins when we were on here about the marketing of cricket and bringing it back. And I certainly think night cricket is one of those things that can bring back a crowd, the excitement and the lights and everything like that. So Chedwin Park, I would love to see lights at Chedwin Park. I think it's a beautiful ground. As they get another single into the acres of space behind square in the offside. Well, they have acres of space everywhere. Every fielder, almost every fielder is on the ropes, other than 3 or 4 inside the circle.
And of course with that single, I think 250 comes up. 250 comes up for Barbados Pride.
Yeah, really, really good stuff from them. They will be very, very happy. 348 and then following up with 250 for 5 as well. As normally teams struggle to match their first inning score in their second inning. So to see that Barbados are putting on a masterclass really in putting on a total and a third innings match.
And Kevin Wickham 21 runs away from what would have been a well-deserved back-to-back century.
Yeah, credit him. I mean, he's done this against combined campuses and colleges at this very ground. At the end of the over, 250 for 5 after 69. But you'd have to argue that nothing taken away from CCC, that the Jamaica Scorpions will be a stronger unit than the CCC. So for him to come and do it here again, and then it will be interesting to see how he proceeds for the other 2 matches in this sort of 3-match series. But he will certainly put his hand up for contention.
Just about 2 of us left in the day's play. But a day that you could clearly said Barbados dominated this third day.
Brad Barnes to continue to Springer. Springer is defensive on that one. It runs past John Campbell at slip, but there is no run. And the groundsmen, of course, should be very, very pleased and proud with themselves with the way this pitch has played. And particularly the outfield as well has been a brilliant outfield for batting. The shadows lengthen at Chudwin Park with just about 9 illegal deliveries left in the day's play, Marlon Pinnock. It's been an excellent day out. And of course, we'd like to remind our viewers that anyone in the St. Catherine area or anyone in the Kingston area or anyone near here wants to come and watch the cricket tomorrow and see what could be a very riveting final day, please come out. There is no entry fee here. And there's an available bar and canteen with food and drink on sale. Marlon Pinnock is familiar with all the chefs in the area. He can call up and get you a meal for you if that's what you require. Turned into the offside again. Wonderful shot by Springer. Another single, yet another single. A really, really excellent feature of this partnership, Marlon Pinnock.
83-run partnership, backing up 100 partnership in the first innings. And this is absolutely gorgeous from the two batters in the middle, Kevin Wickham and of course Shamar Springer.
Last over of the day coming up, and it's going to be bowled by that man, Javel Glenn. Marquino Midley makes his way up from mid-off. From long off, I should say. He's now into the mid-off position. Delivery down the leg side and turned it nicely into the leg side by Shamar Springer for a single. That man, Kevin Wickham, who's been the man of the match so far, 79 of 113 deliveries. Excellent stuff from him. In addition to his 153 in the first innings. And he gets deep into his crease and turns that one into the leg side as well. There's really, really easy pickings here for the Bajans. Moral victory of making sure the Jamaicans have to chase more than 250 tomorrow, whatever happens. Another delivery down the leg side. Springer gets a good piece of this, but the fielder does well at deep backward square, coming around, and it's just a single. Another punch down the ground. And they'll be happy to deal in singles for the last over of the day. That shot takes Wickham up to 81 as well. Changing the angle is Javel Glenn, and it's a dead ball to go with. At the end of the day, he's still trying a little bit of mind games, and now he goes back to conventionally over the wicket. He's still here, the Jamaicans trying to stay positive with just 2 deliveries left in the day's play. One delivery left to end day 3 here at Chedwin Park in St. Catherine, Jamaica. Sliding delivery, tight delivery on the line of middle and leg, jammed down in time by Shamar Springer. And that will do it for the end of the day. Barbados end on 255 for 5, a lead of 259 runs. At the start of the day, the Jamaicans were 275 for 5 before they were eventually bowled out for 342. Odean Smith with a wonderful 49 not out, as well as Romaine Morris with 44 helping them out. Since then, the two Bajan openers, Craig Braffett and Shane Mosley, put on a 98-run partnership before Kevin Wickham, following up from his 153 in the first innings, goes out at the end of the day not unbeaten on 81. We'll have some highlights for you here of the day's play, and then of course we'll have our roundup with our play of the match interview.